Now, as it says, slightly tougher cut. This is one of the first shots I started experimenting after I invented the lasers to test its accuracy. And it passed. Alright, we're going to cut it from, as we view it, left to right, because I'm shooting it right to left. And I'm going to put I'm only putting a half a tip inside here. Okay, I'm putting the half a tip inside so I can predict how much the cue ball is going to deflect and curve, rather than just counting excuse me, rather than just counting on the center ball and accidentally hitting left and right. That's one reason. Second reason is I might miss this ball on the way in, but I will catch it on the way out. The third reason, if I do make it, I won't scratch. If you hit it with center ball, you can scratch up in the corner or up and down the table. You're hitting it so thin that you only need a half a tip of inside is plenty to hold this. It's like when you hit it this thin, it's like shooting the ball straight into the rail at the angle. So half a tip. Line it up. See where you're going to aim on the object ball. I'm not really making a compensation. I'm really close to the true contact point here. You got to get in touch with your stroke and your stick and the feeling and the speed of your stroke, how much deflection you're causing here. Now if you're putting the left like I'm doing here, you know, the cue ball squirting out to the right. A lot of players would shoot this with outside English as their first instinct. They want to spin the ball in. Well, I'll tell you what. Sometimes they might miss the whole ball, and they're not going to catch it off the end rail. And then other times you have to hit the ball soft enough to get the cue ball to curve. You got to play that curve. And at that speed, even if you hit the ball perfectly, it might not have enough energy for the ball to get to the hole. You're going to spin it in. Plus you're going to lose control of your cue ball. And it's the same thing. Like I said, when I was a B player, A player, I felt more comfortable with that. That's the way I was raised, and I think that's the way most of the American players are raised. But, wow, that kind of thing. But now we have to raise players to use the inside English. It's a marvelous tool. Usually I shoot like 10 or 20 of these. Get used to the aim, get used to how much some of you are going to have to aim at a half ball here. Cue sticks cause that much deflection. You're going to have to aim the left laser on the center of this object ball and then stroke right through with that left hand English. You're just going to squirt over a good half a ball. Okay, overcut it. Don't go crazy. I shoot like 20 of these shots. 10 left to right and 10 right to left. And I just try to keep track of how many I make. I'm not going to tell you how many that is on average. I want you to do the same thing. If you go 0 for 20 your first day, don't worry about it. You're just gradually going to get a little bit better. Now I'm cutting the ball from my left to right, right to left. So I'm putting a little bit of right hand English on the ball. And like I said, a lot of this has to do with, it's not just accuracy on the aim. What your hand feels like, got that little causes the scratch. What your hand feels like, what your arm feels like. Try not to drop your elbow on these shots, because that's just one thing you can eliminate. I got a lot more accurate just using the forearm here. You know, sometimes there might be some shots to drop your elbow, but if you don't have to, you can become a little bit more consistent. Feel your hand. Now I'm putting a little bit of right hand English here, so my wrist would be like tucking in a little bit. If I was putting the left, it'd be like rolling out a little bit. You know, that's exactly how Buddy Hall explained it years ago. Thank God I heard him say that, because I could hear him playing. I could hearing books and instructors keep the wrist straight all the time. You know, you tuck it in a little bit, roll it out. You go with the stick. The stick is angled off. You know, so if you kept it straight, you'd be going against the grain. So there's some feel in your hand. There's some feel in your stroke. You want to get consistent at it. Get to know what your stick does. These are great shots. Great shots. Most players watching this right here, some players, you know, you couldn't make 1 out of 100. Oop, I didn't make that one too good, huh? Couldn't make 1 out of 100. Well, you know what? We'll increase it constantly. They'll go from 1 out of 100, 5 out of 100, and maybe we'll get you up to 20 out of 100. I think most pros on this shot would be around 25, 30%. I don't think too many of them would bet they're 40% on this shot. Okay. But if you practice this one, you're also getting good at all your other shots. You're breaking out of your comfort zone. You might have gone your whole life without even trying this. Cut that real thin. Break out of your comfort zone. Do yourself a favor. You know, you ever see players when they're playing really well, pro players, they'll say, wow, I'm really seeing the edges. You know, that means their confidence high. They're really seeing the shot. So just practice this. I'm not telling you to shoot it every time it comes up in a game, but if you practice this, all your other cut shots are going to seem a lot easier. You're going to be a lot more confident. And it's about 8 inches off the end rail. It's on the number 7 aiming line, folks. You know where that is, right?